Hello, fam. So I hope it's already transmitting what I'm saying, because when I do lives on YouTube, sometimes they cut out at the beginning. So I was hesitant for a few moments. And so now I say officially hello. And I felt inspired to do this live and call it conscious alignment with the source that we are. And in that transmission, I would like to read few texts. One of mine that I recently read in my native Lithuanian language, and another from this wonderful book, The Emerald Tablet by Dennis William Hawke, Alchemy for Personal Transformation. Very good book. I very recommend it. It is a very good book to study and for applying, practicing, really actualizing inner transformation. And for now, I just want to read one short excerpt, and it is also quoted by this author from the Corpus Hermeticum, Libellus 11. It is a message from so-called Hermes, and Hermes is more like a principle, more like a state of consciousness than a certain being. It is like a certain archetype of God, which can be channeled on this earth through various individuals, more or less. It can also be channeled through us, and sometimes we are doing it even without knowing it. But in essence, Hermes is associated with the Mercury, both planet and both metal, quicksilver, and it is very malleable, very transformative. It is like a go between various different states of consciousness. So it represents that flexibility, that unifying principle that can unify various opposites and then use those opposites in various masterful ways. So that's basically how I perceive this Hermes field. And yes, it is main guide for alchemists, because yes, it is that unifying principle that helps us to align with that source perspective where everything is as one. So there are no conflicts in that state. And there is only inspired creativity that flows from that state. Playfulness also. So, this message sounds like this. If then you do not make yourself equal to God, you cannot apprehend God, for like is known by like. Leap clear of all that is corporeal, and make yourself grown to the like expanse with that greatness which is beyond all measure. Rise above all time, and become eternal. Then you will apprehend God. Think for you too, nothing is impossible. Deem that you too are immortal, that you are able to grasp all things in your thought, to know every craft and science, find your home in the haunts of every living creature, make yourself higher than all heights and lower than all depths. Bring together in yourself all opposite quality, heat and cold, dryness and fluidity. Think that you are everywhere at once, on land, at sea, in heaven. Think that you are not yet begotten, that you are in the womb, that you are young, that you are old, that you have died, that you are in the world beyond the grave. Grasp in your thought all of this at once, all times, all places, all substances and qualities and magnitudes together. Then you can apprehend God. But if you shut up your soul in your body and abase yourself and say, I know nothing, I can do nothing, I am afraid of earth and sea, I cannot mount to heaven, I know not what I was nor what I shall be, then what have you to do with God? So, yes, it is very inspiring message, maybe not very popular message in various spiritual religion circles where the opposite ideas are promoted, that you are like a dust, you are very small, you are guilty, and so on. So of course there is that element of humility is very relevant actually also for that, for aligning with God, because at the beginning it says, leap clear of all that is corporeal. So it means, yes, first of all, acknowledge, accept your inhabited limitations, but then you can leap from them, you can leave them and expand your consciousness, expand your imagination, because imagination is that gift, is that link from the source, to the mind of God. And yes, it is invitation to leave our bounded, limited imagination, which is usually based only on our physical lives, on various issues, various fear-based projections and manipulations and schemes and so on, to raise that imagination, to purify that imagination so it may connect with the one mind of the entire universe, entire creation. And that mind is always working for the best of all, because it is one thing, one mind, one heart, one infinite intelligence with one infinite love. So, by exercising consciously this alignment with Source perspective allows you to access more of that love, more of that wisdom, more of that power of Source. So yes, it is very, very important to not keep yourself small, but instead, yes, extend your consciousness, extend your imagination as far as you can, and then more of that will come, more of divine consciousness will meet your consciousness within this incarnation. So you can express more of that within this incarnation. And it is such a wonderful opportunity, such a wonderful gift to experience and share. So now I would like to read another message, which I read myself, again in my Lithuanian language, but I will read it from Google Translate. So bear with me, because I may want to change some translations here. But yes, this is a message from the most sincere inspiration. So I invite you to get out of the inertial rhythm and listen to this depth. So here it is. Take a deep breath. Open up and just be present. There is a saying among alchemists that it takes gold to make gold. And here lies a hint that pure quintessence is already and always hidden within us. And the alchemical process is its raising and condensation in our daily life experience. So, in a simpler terms, that quintessence is our own consciousness from which we always experience everything. But when we are used to focusing only on the conditioned content of experience, our experience becomes rough and confusing, and our divine consciousness becomes as it were buried and forgotten. Therefore, we must penetrate through all ideas and emotions and recognize that unbounded purity of consciousness, which can act as if it is bounded. But when we become conscious of it, it is already within our will. So I will read this part again. Therefore, we must penetrate through all ideas and emotions and recognize that unbounded purity of consciousness, which can act as if it is bounded. But when we become conscious of it, it is already within our will, within our choice. And from here, I invite you to simply meditate on the very process of awareness, on the very essence of consciousness as an immeasurable and all pervading sense of self. Then, transformations of purification of our inner content can take place, and pure inspiration begin to flow to creatively share our inner goodness. So the whole point is to raise this inner treasure to your forefront experience, to accept and worship the light of your consciousness as God, because that is what it is. When to be that. Yeah, and then to be that, which means to allow this purity to flow through us and act of pure love and act out of pure love, because in the pure light of consciousness everything is that, everything is that love, everything is that consciousness. Again, one thing. So again, so the whole point is to raise this inner treasure to your forefront of your experience, to accept and worship the light of your consciousness as God, because that is what it is. And then to be that, which means to allow this purity to flow through us and act out of pure love, because in the pure light of consciousness, everything is that. And for this, there is no need to wait for confirmations or encouragements from the outside, because our outside is only a reflection that multiplies our will. This reflection of the knowledge that you are hearing now is also, first of all, called from your inside, from yourself. It is you speaking to yourself through the means of this channel, this transmission, this particular mirror. So, let us first raise our spirit from ourselves as best as we can, and then larger portion of the universal spirit will meet it. Macrocosmic consciousness always seeks to restore the suppressed connection with our human microcosmic consciousness. But here, from our human perspective, we must walk our own path towards a deeper experience of unity with the universe. As expressed in the Gospel of Thomas by the supposed Jesus, if you bring forth what is within you, it will save you. But if you do not bring it forth, it will destroy you. This very purposefully points to the divine power hidden within us, which is so boundless and so powerful that when it is kept suppressed, it begins to tear our lives apart, from which, through various harmful habits, extremes, confused minds, conflicting relationships, and so on. And all forms of suffering are the beginning of an inner transformation, which I invite you to consciously assist instead of unconsciously resist it. Therefore, let us cultivate a connection with the priceless treasure that is our very being. Nothing in the manifested universe can compare to this treasure. At first, it may feel like a very subtle spark, but as we nurture its recognition, intuitive sensation of it, and expression of it, it can become a light of consciousness and a blissful freedom that swallows up everything that has been known before. And nothing can ever take this inner self knowledge away from us. This is truly a spiritual rebirth. And just as when we are born physically, we can no longer slip back into the womb, so too, when we grow our spirit, we can no longer believe false ideas about ourselves and our purity. So, thank you for receiving this inspired impulse from my heart. Yes, so here is my rough translation, but I believe you get the point, you get the inspiration, you get the clarity, refreshment, and yeah, feel free to comment how it lands to you, how it resonates to you. I would appreciate a feedback. And yeah, that's in a nutshell alchemical process. So now I can speak on that a little bit, just without reading, just from this live moment. To conclude, again, this message that yes, it takes gold to make gold, and that means that gold is purity of ourselves aligned with the source, actualized, integrated, established in, again, in the forefront of our experience. So it is no, when we are practicing it and actualizing it, it is no longer a theory, it is no longer a story, it is our actual living reality, which, again, as I said, swallows up everything that was known before. All our previous limited ideas about ourselves is dissolved and coagulated into this state of unity consciousness. And it is already and always here. It is what speaks, it is what listens right now. It is the spaceless space from which you see everything. Yes, it is that purity of consciousness in which you are experiencing everything and nothing is outside of that. We can only create an illusion when it seems like our consciousness is small, our consciousness is inside somehow in our brain. It is contained, it is conditioned, and so on. So, as I read before, yes, this divine consciousness, it is like that quicksilver. It can act like that. It can believe that, but also it is always deep within knows that it is more than that. So it cannot be suppressed forever. But if we are keeping it suppressed, eventually it will start to rebel against all our wits, all our plans, and so on. Yeah, I love that quote from Gospel of Thomas that says, yeah, if you bring forth what is within you, it will save you. But if you will not bring forth that which is within you, it will destroy you. Because, yes, it is infinite power. And yes, when we are only filtering that power, that infinite power through various limiting strategies, beliefs, habits, then we can see what happens. Then we overdo when we get various side effects from our actions. We can get caught up in various loops of suffering. So here is invitation to meditate and contemplate on this purity of our consciousness before everything else. To first separate our purity of consciousness from all entanglements and just to see and feel it for what it really is, as that unbounded potential, as that pure power, which also contains pure love and pure wisdom, that is the Holy Trinity. So, yeah, that Holy Trinity rests within our hearts, and alchemical process is just bringing that forth, bringing that in our forefront, being that consciously aligned with this source that we are. And this is conjunction, separation, and conjunction, distillation and coagulation. These are alchemical processes, and they are meant to be cultivated throughout our lives. It is not one-time thing, it is cyclical thing. And the more we do this, and including in this process our ever-changing contexts of our life, the more refined it will be, it will feel, it will express itself in the more powerful ways. So I also invite you to make all your life a spiritual practice. Include everything in that. When you feel somehow confused between all variables of your life, when you feel suffering in that, just return to this purity of I am that I am. And then from that, pure freedom, pure power, pure love, reconnect again with your relative life and express that love and freedom and wisdom. Integrate that. And again, all the guidance is within you. You just need to keep refreshing that state of your pure consciousness. When you have more free time, just sit and meditate. Go deeper into that. And then apply it. So, that's it for now. Thank you very much again for receiving. And I also feel inspired to make a course on this where we can meet together online and just practice this, study this together. It's inspiring each other, supporting each other in this approach. So if you feel interested, just write me an email. More information is on information tab below this video. And I also available for private sessions on whatever feels most relevant and important in your life, so we can explore that together. So if you feel resonance, if you feel like I could assist you, just write me and we will talk more about the details. And for now, I just wish you the best experience of your life. Enjoy and see you in the moment. Bye.